to episode number 40 of Tales of Yarnia. My name is Hannah and I'm coming to you from Cheltenham in the UK, which is where I live with my other half Jimmy and our yellow Labrador who's just walking over there. And his name is Jonah. He's been a little bit mischievous this morning, so he might settle down for the podcast, but whenever I say that, he inevitably does not, so he's probably going to be a bit disruptive. He's just lying on the rug over there, chewing on his bone at the moment, so hopefully you might stay doing that for a bit, and hopefully it's not too noisy for you guys. We'll just have to see how it goes and play it by ear. So, did I say this is a podcast all about knitting and spinning and occasionally crochet? I can't remember how much of my intro I actually managed to say before I went and veered off topic, as I do quite a bit. But thank you so much for joining me. A big welcome to any new viewers. I really hope you enjoy the podcast, and let me know if you do like it by subscribing and giving a thumbs up. And also a big welcome back to any returning viewers. It's so lovely to have you here and get to chat to you again about what we've all been making. So, the first thing I wanted to cover, we currently have a knit-along running in our Ravelry group, which is Tales of Yarnia, and it is the season of Socks KAL. So all we're doing is knitting a pair of socks which are in some way inspired by autumn if you live in the northern hemisphere, or inspired by spring if you live in the southern hemisphere. So that has been running for a little while now, and it is due to end at the end of November. And on the last podcast, I said I would draw some prizes from the Instagram hashtag, which is it is Season of Socks KAL. So I'll include that on the screen if you want to join in. There's still time to join in if you're quite quick at knitting socks. There's still a few weeks left. So I have picked 2 posts from the Instagram hashtag, and the 2 winners will win a copy of one of my sock patterns. The winner can choose. So the 2 who I have drawn randomly are Cirque Bell's Buckles. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'll write them on the screen as well. And Re Hector Loves Crafting. So each of you, if you want to get in contact with me and let me know either on Instagram messages, or you can message me on Ravelry, just let me know which of my sock patterns you would like a copy of, and I will get those sent over to you. So congratulations, and I was just about to show you a couple of prizes. I know I've shown some of them before, but I thought I would just do a bit of a roundup of the prizes we have got so far for the cow. One I showed last episode, and that was a project bag from Hikari Handmade, and I don't actually have that here in person because we thought it would just be a lot simpler for her to just send it out and save on postage and air miles and all that sort of thing. So look back at the previous episode to see that. It's a beautiful bag, sock-sized bag, and Hikari's bags are just absolutely amazing. So the winner of that is going to be very lucky. The other prizes we have are this skein of Fruitful Fusion, and it's a superwash BFL and nylon, and it's a fingering weight yarn, so it'd be perfect for socks, especially being BFL. I love Ishrat's yarns. They are just so beautiful. The colours she uses are absolutely stunning. So yes, here's their label. I haven't shown this for a while, so there we go. So that's going to be a prize. I don't know whether I'm going to mix prizes together. Maybe some small prizes can go with each. And we'll just have a look. And then I received an amazing package. I'll just get it over here before the crinkling takes over. An amazing package from Emma of Eldon Woodcraft. And I think she is Eldon Woodcraft on Instagram, and she also has the Eldon Woodcraft podcast here on YouTube. So if you haven't watched that, you should definitely go over and have a look. I'm just going to open the package and show you what we've got. Okay. So Emma was so kind and generous and sent me 2 little project bags, and they're both perfect for socks or hats and small sort of projects. The first one, there's 2 slightly different styles, but they're in the same gorgeous fabric with these garden birds. Just look at that. Aren't they just adorable? So this one is like a box bottom. I don't do sewing, so I don't know the words. I don't know why I'm trying to make it up as I go along. But this one can like sit on its own. And look, she's got these gorgeous little tags on them as well, and the drawstring. I haven't pulled the drawstring on either of them yet. She did say that one was to give, I left the note upstairs, she said that one was to give as a prize for the cow, and then the other one I could either keep it or give it away as well. And I think I am going to have to keep one because they are just so pretty. So I'm really sorry, but I do really, really love them. I absolutely love birds. I think it would just be too difficult to part with both of these. Thank you so much, Emma. So that's one of them, and then the other one you can see is slightly larger, and I don't know what style you call it, but it's absolutely beautiful. I'm sure you could even fit a small shawl project in here. I'm sure you could fit a 2 skein project in that one. Oh, and here's Emma's label. The tag, sorry. So they're just absolutely stunning. Thank you so much, Emma. They are absolutely gorgeous, and if you haven't seen Emma's bags before, you should definitely keep an eye out for her shop updates. I think she does tend to I think her products do tend to get snapped up quite quickly, and they're quite popular, but for good reason. They are so well made and they are so beautiful. The fabric she uses are always really pretty, and they're sort of nature inspired with birds and woodland animals and trees and things. So yeah, one of these will be a prize in the KAL. I'm not sure whether to let the winner decide which one they would like, but we'll see when I come to drawing the prizes if I haven't just picked one by then. So yes, one of those will be in the prize basket. Sorry, I just want to put these away so they stay nice and protected. Okay, and then I've got one more little prize to show you, and it is a beautiful polymer clay pin badge, which is from my friend Wendy, who is now known as Yarnia Clay on Instagram, and she has an Etsy shop called Clay Pigeon Designs, I think, and she's given me one of her gorgeous polymer clay knitted brooches. It's absolutely beautiful, and can you see it's sparkly as well? This purple is amazing. I've got one of these in like a mustard yellow, which I keep on one of my project bags, and I absolutely love it. It's so pretty, so So yeah, that's the. I did just unwrap it just so I could show you. It's a little label there. So I will wrap this back up so it stays nice and safe. So that's another little prize. I might pair that with one of the other prizes. I don't know yet. Wrap that back up. Nice and safe. Excuse you, Jonah. Right, so those are the prizes I wanted to show. I'll also be giving away some more copies of my sock pans. In addition to those, or in combination with those. So I think each person that wins will also get a sock pan. Okay. So that was it for our KAL. Next up, I need to announce the winner for the giveaway we were hosting on the last episode, which was for a copy of one of Geordie Knit's patterns, which Katie so generously offered to gift one of us. So I've drawn a random winner from the YouTube comments using random number generator, and I gave each comment a number. And the winner was Laura Armstrong. So if you get in contact with me, because I don't think I can message people via YouTube, and I don't know what for definite what your Instagram or Ravelry usernames are. So if you message me on Instagram or Ravelry, I think that would be the easiest, and let me know which of Katie's patterns you would like a copy of, and I will then get in contact with Katie and get her to send it to you. So congratulations! And in the same sort of theme, we now have a new giveaway to announce. We will get to the actual knitting eventually. I've just got one more thing to talk about. So the lovely Christine of the Sweet Lavender podcast on YouTube, she is also known as Sweet Lavender 1, I think, on Instagram, but I'll include links to everyone just in the comments, no, not the comments, in the description box down below. And she has just released, or a couple of weeks ago, released her first pattern. So she very kindly offered to donate one as a gift for the podcast. So I will probably run this in the same sort of way as I did last time. The pattern, by the way, the first design that she's done and released is the Downtown Shorties socks. They are on Ravelry if you want to have a look. I'll try and include a picture just here as well so you can see what they look like. They're really beautiful. I think it's got like a slip stitch design, it looks like, and it just looks like a really fun, cozy knit. And yeah, they look really, really lovely. So if you haven't looked at those, go and check them out. And if you would like to be in with a chance of winning a copy of the pattern, then I'm going to run it on YouTube. So if you comment down below, just saying, to think of a prompt. Maybe if everyone just says one thing, one positive thing that's happened to them in the last sort of week. So one good thing that's happened to you in the last week. If you comment that down below, that will be your entry into this giveaway. So yeah, that was it for all of the admin. That was a big chunk of my my show notes for this week. It was like over half of the page was just announcements and prizes and all that fun stuff. It's all prizes, so it's all fun. I'm sure you don't mind. Oh, and I'm using, I don't think I had this last time, I'm using my new mug, which is kind of festive, but not like overly festive. And it's, I got it from Anthropology, which has opened up recently in Cheltenham. And I'm a bit obsessed with that shop. Just a little bit obsessed. I can't walk past without going in. It's just got so many beautiful things, but it is really expensive. So I can't spend too much time in there or it's very dangerous. But yeah, I just really loved this mug. Just thought it's got this stag with the antlers and things. So I probably just use this all year round. I've been using it as my sort of like everyday coffee mug. So yeah. Ooh, we don't want to focus anymore. There we go. Cool. Right. Okay. We have one pattern release since I last podcasted, and that is the acorn hat. Ooh. Yes, Jonah likes this one, I think. Hello. I know, it's the acorn hat. Do I wear this when we go on walks? Is that why you're excited? I do wear this when we go on the dog walks, because it's been really cold recently. It's been cold enough to wear a hat, and it means I don't have to do anything to my hair because I'm super lazy. So if I'm just wearing a hat, then no one can see how messy my hair is. Oh, yes. Wasn't planning on telling everyone about that, but never mind. So yeah, here's the acorn hat. I think I have already shown it on the last podcast. I think I modelled it as well. So I know. Anyway, this pattern is now available on Ravelry, and it's got the same lace design as I incorporated into the acorn socks. And then you also have some little simple cables, 2 of those on the other side of the hat just to break up the stockinette and give it a bit of interest on that side. So go check that out if you're interested. And oh, the pom-poms on both the hats I'm going to show you are from 2 Little Rainbows on Etsy. And I really like those. They are faux fur pom-poms. Anyway, that is the acorn hat. I've got 2 other designs that I did show on the last podcast, and they will probably be released within the next few weeks, hopefully by the end of November, depending on how the testing goes for them. So this one, my sweater design, which I wore on the last podcast, I've now given it a name. I've been brainstorming for a while, and I finally picked one this morning, and I've decided to call it the Enchanted Frond sweater. So, because it had to have something in the name to do with leaves and that sort of thing. So I came across, I sort of was brainstorming just words and things, and I came up with Enchanted Frond. So just thought that sounded quite nice and magical, like some sort of enchanted forest. So this is the Enchanted Frond, and some of my test knitters are now finishing their sweaters, and it's really, really exciting. My friend Roz, who I think she's Rose or Rosmond on Instagram, she's done like a really different colour palette to this one, and it's like neon pinks and yellows, and it's absolutely amazing. And it's so lovely to see the same design but in like completely different colours, and it just gives the sweater a whole different vibe, and it's just so pretty. I really, really love the colours she's picked, and yeah, I think she says she's really, really pleased with the sweater as well, so hopefully she'll get lots of wear out of that because it's been really cold recently. So anyway, that's the Enchanted Frond, hopefully to be released around the end of November. Excuse me. And then we have got this hat, which is currently in testing, and I've named the hat the Frosted Peaks hat. You can see it's got these little peaks around the brim, and then that sort of merges into cables which run up the hat. and then got a little pom-pom. So I think I went through pretty much everything to do with the hat last time. It's currently in testing now. It's just going to be one size for this hat because the nature of the way I've designed the brim, the stitch count to make a larger size would be really large. It just wouldn't work. So if you did want to make a larger size, you could use like worsted weight yarn and a slightly bigger needle. Or if you wanted to make a smaller size, you could use maybe sport weight yarn with a slightly smaller needle, or just still use DK weight and a smaller needle or different size needle. So the yarns I used Fruitful Fusion DK in the, what colourway was it? Tidal colourway, and I held it together with mohair lace weight, and that was from Dye Bar in the Mermaid Lagoon colourway, and I really love how it's worked up. So this is currently in testing and will hopefully be released in a few weeks. So if you want to know when they're released, just follow me on Instagram and I will always announce it on there first. Okay, so that's it for the patterns. And now we're on to FOs. So the main FO that I have, sorry, I'm getting floof everywhere, all over the table. The main FO I have is the one I'm wearing. And if you've watched this before, you will recognise this as the Spectre sweater, which I was working on for quite a long time, on and off. And the pattern is by Hohi Locatelli. I'll just stand up so that you can see it a bit better. Joe's going to get excited because I'm standing up and he'll think that we're going somewhere or doing something interesting. But we are not, we're just standing up. So this is the sweater. And I really, really love it. It's got, I think it was meant to have about 1 inch or 1 to 3 inches of positive ease, and I think it does. I was a bit worried when I was knitting it that it was going to end up way too small, but it didn't. It's I blocked it quite aggressively, mainly width-wise. What are you doing? What are you doing? You just want to be in the podcast. You want to be involved, don't you? I know, don't scratch the chair. Okay, good point. So it's got this beautiful yoke design, which is twisted stitches, I think. Hopefully you can see that there. But that goes all the way around. It has short row shaping for the back, so that the back is higher than the front on the neck. There's no shaping on the body, which I like in a sweater. I don't like really fitted, so I like them to have a little bit of ease. But this is probably the minimum amount of ease I would want in a sweater. What else do I need to say? Oh yes, the yarn. The yarn I've used was a fade kit by Mr. B's Yarn, and it's the Rust, or just Rust fade kit. 4 colours I think you can buy individually, and they are Rust Spot is the one at the top, and then that fades into Just Rust, which is like a slightly darker. They fade really well together, these yarns. Then that fades into, what was that one? Rusty. And then that fades into Stonewash at the bottom. And Stonewash is one of their tonals, which is just like a really good tonal to pair with like literally any of their colourways. I really, really love that one. Right. So yeah, really, really happy with this sweater. I would definitely recommend the pattern. I did find the lace yoke quite fiddly, so it probably not be, because it's a lot of twisted stitches as well. I think, what was it? I can't remember. It's been so long since I knit the yoke. But I do remember it being a little bit fiddly, so it'd probably not be the best beginner pattern. But once you get past there, you're like, it's pretty much vanilla knitting. You're just doing a rib, and if you watched this before, you'll see that once you get past the split for the sleeves, you then turn the sweater inside out and you knit this ribbing bit inside out, so that you're mostly doing knit stitches instead of purl stitches, because the outside, if you can see, is mostly purl stitches with these like knit ridges. I really like the design and how this looks, so yeah, big thumbs up from me. And I do wear it quite a lot. I'm really pleased with the colours that I knit it in, because they're quite neutral, even though it is a fade. It's pretty neutral, and I don't feel like a crazy person if I wear this out to non-knitting related places. So. Right, so that's my Spectre. My other FO, you might have seen at the beginning, I was literally just binding off before I podcasted. And it's very interesting, because the last time you saw this, it was, the yarn was still on the bobbins, and some of the yarn was not even yarn yet, it was still fibre. So I've done quite a lot with this fibre since I last spoke to you. And I spun, I don't know if I still, no, I've not got, here we go, here's the yarn. I spun this, I can't speak, I need to start at the beginning of the story. So I spun some beautiful Polworth fibre from Witchcrafty Lady, and I picked that up in Yarningham back in whenever that was, summer at some time. And I decided I wanted to do my first 3-ply with this. And I had 150 grams. I didn't realise I had 150 grams to start with until I weighed the skein at the end. And that was quite fun. I was like, oh, I didn't realise I had so much. I could do quite a bit with this. So I spun it as onto 3 bobbins and just plied them as a 3-ply. And this is the cake yarn. I did post a picture of the skein on Instagram before I wound it up and started knitting with it, just so that I had some sort of photographic evidence of it. But yeah, I just really loved when it was all caked up. You could just see how the colour changes went, and it was really exciting, because I think when I was winding it into a skein, I used the ball winder, just wound it into a ball and then wound it back into a skein just to even it out a little bit. And when I saw it wound into a ball that day, I was like, well, I'm going to be casting this on. But I wound it back into a skein so that I could properly measure how many meters I had and check what weight of yarn it was. And so that I could take a nice picture of the skein as well. Sorry. So yeah, that's the ball of yarn. This is my first 3-ply, and I really enjoyed doing a 3-ply actually. I know Amy Florence of the Stranded podcast has said before that she likes doing 3-plies because it gives you a more even spread of. It gives you a more consistent yarn because you've got 3 different plies. If one of your plies is a bit thick at one point, it doesn't matter as much in the long run with a 3-ply. It's less noticeable in a 3-ply than it would be in a 2-ply because it's like a smaller proportion of the overall strand of finished plied yarn, if that makes sense. So I'll get around to actually showing you what I've made with it now. I decided I wanted to knit a cowl to sort of show the the graduation in the colour changes. I thought a cowl, because it's there's no increases or decreases. I thought that would just be a really nice straight tube in which to show off the handspun. So I designed a cowl with handspun in mind, and with just a couple of different stitches which don't take over the pattern. So it's a very simple design. There's a lot of stockinette, but just some interesting stitches to break that up. Okay, so here is the finished cowl, and it took me, I think it took me about a week to make, on and off. I just sort of abandoned my other projects and have just had to cast this on, so it might get a little bit blown out. I'll try not to let it, but so if you can see the stitches up close. I'm calling this the Twinkle and Spark cowl, because I thought these stitches, it sort of reminded me of fireworks. I just thought this, like the colours in this yarn, and I just thought these stitches would show off handspun quite well, because it wouldn't overpower the handspun, or the handspun colours wouldn't overpower the stitches. They're still visible. Whereas with a bit more of an intricate pattern, you might lose the definition of the stitches using a yarn that changes colour. So I've got two different types of stitches which sit together in sections, and I thought they reminded me of fireworks and things. So I thought that would be perfect for this sort of time of year, and I want to try and get the pattern released before New Year so that we can all knit Twinkle and Spark cowls while the fireworks are going off around the world. I thought that would be a really fun idea. So, oh yeah, I forgot to say, my yarn ended up as a sport weight. However, I am going to write up the pattern for multiple different weights of yarn, so that when you've got a skein of handspun, it does not matter what weight it turned out at. There's still a pattern that you can knit with it. So I am writing it. It will be suitable for just 100 grams of fibre, and it'll be really easily customizable anyway, because you can just make it as long or short as you want. So you could even just use 50 grams if you wanted, and that it would just be probably about that long. I think I've used just over 100 grams on mine, maybe 110. I need to properly weigh the ball, but yeah, I really, really love it. I might put it on just to show you. I tried it on before and it was so warm and cozy, I didn't want to take it off. Right. Yeah, I'm really pleased with it. I haven't designed a cowl before. I have knit some before, but it's the first one that I've designed. I just thought it would work quite well with the handspun. So, and I haven't seen many patterns which are designed with handspun yarn in mind. I know there are more patterns coming out now which incorporate, or they use spin cycle yarns, which is a yarn which looks quite a lot like handspun, because I think they use different colours of yarn and then ply them together, so it makes it look slightly barber poled sometimes. Like here, where you've got the different colours of yarn plied together, and it makes a little stripy effect. There are a few patterns that involve that yarn, and that can be substituted for handspun. But it's very difficult to know what weight, unless you're a very, very experienced spinner and you do the, I know there's little, what's it called? It's like a sample card or some sort of card you can use to check how thick your yarn is spinning, and so that you can try and make a more consistent spin. But I like to wing it when I'm spinning and just sort of let the yarn decide how it wants to come out. So I think it's quite difficult trying to plan a project with your hand spun, because you just don't know what weight of yarn you're going to end up with. So I thought a cowl where I can design it for, a few people have requested fingering weight yarn. There'll be a sport weight version and a DK and maybe an Aran/worsted weight. And I don't know if anyone wants anything thicker than that. But if you do, let me know. I did put a post on my Instagram feed asking what weights of yarn people would like me to include instructions for that. So yeah, I might just leave this on now because it's quite warm and cozy. So I will be writing that up soon. I had to decide, do I want to podcast today or write up a pattern? So I thought I would podcast because I quite fancy chatting with you all and showing you what I've been up to, because after quite a few weeks it does pile up, and the longer I leave it, the longer the episode is going to be, and then people might lose interest because there's only so much listening to me waffle on about mostly knitting and other various things that you can take, really. So this is the Twinkle and Spark cowl. The fibre I used initially was from Witchcrafty Lady, who is the lovely Almas. She does amazing. She sells fibre. She sells her own hand spun and also hand dyed yarn. I think her shop is also called Witchcrafty Lady, but I'll include links to that down below. And I'm going to have to get some more of her fibre at some point, because this just turned out so amazing. If I do say so myself, I'm really, really pleased with it. So you can tell how excited I was about it, because the same day it was dry, I cast it on. So yeah. So I have got no more FOs. I've got a couple of whips to show you. And there's 2 new whips. Gosh, so much. I've done like so many projects, or I feel like there's been a lot of change in what I've been knitting since I last spoke to you. I think because the previous episode I had 3 FOs, and so I was due to be casting some things on. Yeah, so it's pretty good. There's progress. It's just there's progress being made. I am creating things, and yeah. Don't know what to show you first. I'll have some coffee first. Okay. First one I think I'll show is a new shawl design, which is living in my beautiful festive bag from my cottage number 9. And I got this from my mum as a Christmas present last year. I absolutely love it. I've been waiting to get it out again because I absolutely love this bag. Which side to show you? Yeah, so on one of the sides it's got this lovely sleigh, a little robin and the trees, and a reindeer. It's so cute. And then on the other side, you've got gingerbread houses. Aren't they just so cute? And a little snowman. I absolutely love it. And then on the inside, the fabric, is these lovely little mittens. So I couldn't wait to get this out again. Right, what am I doing? So I did show you, I think last time, some yarns which I was planning to start a design with. So I'll just quickly show you those again. So we've got this skein, or this ball of yarn. It was a skein, it's now a ball, of Les Family yarn. and this is the Quirrell colourway, and I absolutely love it. I think this might be one of my favourite colourways to knit up to date. It's just so dreamy, and the colours in that are just so beautiful. I love it. And in combination with this, I'm using another fingering weight skein. This one is from Mr. B's yarn. They're another of my favourites. And this one is called, what's it called? What have I done with the labels? I think it's Duchess. The Duchess colourway. So got these two. And then I've also got this skein of mohair silk from Mr. B's yarn, and I think it's called Fuzzy Mauve, this colourway, and it definitely lives up to its name. It's so floofy and pretty. I love it. Oh, it's just so gorgeous. Okay, so I'll show you what I've done so far. I'm really, really excited about this design, and I've not picked it up for a little while because I just got completely distracted by the cowl, and I just wanted something really, really simple. So where am I up to on this? I think I've done a fair amount. Let's have a look. Make sure I'm showing you the front as well, not the back. I've got so many ends to weave. Just try and hide all of those so it's not in the way. Okay, get back there. Here we go. This is what I've done so far. So it's going to be the same shape, overall shape, as the pear blossom shawl, which I designed earlier in the year. I just really, really love that triangular shape that's not a super deep triangle. And it has like quite long ends. You can wrap it around twice if you need to stay extra cozy, or you can just wrap it around once. And it's all like floaty and drapey. That's the word we use for shawls, drapey. And I find that shape really wearable. It's one of the shawls that I reach for the most. So I wanted to knit another one of those. I also like that when you're knitting them, you don't end up with tons and tons of stitches on the needles, because you're knitting two of the edges at once as your finished edges. So you probably end up with half the number of stitches on the needles as you would with a semicircular shawl. So the rows are quite a bit shorter and you feel like you're getting a bit more progress done. So if I just show you up close, I'm doing a lot of garter sections with stripes, so that this section doesn't overpower the shawl. I will be doing some more of this at the end of it, I think. But I wanted just some really relaxing garter and eyelet sections. So yeah, you can see how each colourway is knitting up. It's so beautiful. I love these colours together. I really, really do. So you're not holding the mohair together with the other yarns. We're having sections of mohair on its own, and then each yarn is just knit on its own, so you won't end up in a huge tangle or anything. And then I just really love this stitch section, and I love how it just makes the mohair just go all wiggly and floofy. Okay, it's better with the light there. I really love how this is knitting up. It's just so pretty, if I do say so myself. I mean, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't be knitting it, so. Oh. can't wait to wear this. It's just so soft and floofy. It's like a mini shawl at the moment, but not really long enough to wrap around yet. Right, I'll stop playing with this and get on to the next whip. I think I told you everything I needed to about that one. It is quite a relaxing knit at the moment because I'm just on like stripy garter sections. And the rows are getting longer, so you sort of get into the rhythm of doing the garter, and I really enjoy that. Oh, I forgot to tell you what progress keeper I've got on here. Sorry. This is the little unicorn from Hannah of the Corner of Craft, and it's a lovely beaded stitch mark. It's not well, it can be a stitch marker. She uses clasps, which can be stitch markers or progress keepers, so they're multifunctional. And he's got like really iridescent beads. I love it. So yeah, unicorn had to go on this project. Okay. Right. I'll just pop this over here. And on to the next project. Right, this next one is living in my latest purchase from Hikari Handmade. I love it so much. I love this bag and these colours. They are everything. I love Hikari's bags as well. They're so well made. I have so many talented makers, and I just love collecting their things. Right, so in here I have started a new sweater design. I'll show you the yarn first. The yarn is absolutely stunning and so soft. And it is Woolly Mammoth Fibre Co. And the base is the BFL Gotland 4-ply, which is 75% BFL and 25% Gotland, and sourced, spun and made in the UK. And I think she only uses natural dyes. She's based in Northern Ireland, and the colour is called Spindrift Light. I just absolutely love it. So I've got 3 skeins of the same colourway. Oh, I forgot to say how much. Ah, yeah, so you get 350 metres per 100 grams. That might be about 380 yards. I'm not very good at converting that in my head, but maybe around that. So it's quite a plump fingering weight. It's really beautiful to knit with. So I'll show you what I've done so far. I haven't done loads, but this hasn't been my priority project that I've been needing to get finished. I'm really enjoying this project and taking my time and designing it. So I'm really excited with the concept and design and how it's knitting up so far though. I'm knitting a bottom-up sweater, and this is the front. So it's going to be difficult to see the actual detail until I've done more of it, because it's all bunched up on the needles and it's going to have quite a bit of positive ease. But I've sort of got these on the front and some like texture on the edges. This progress keeper was from Hikari as well. That came with the project bag. I absolutely love that. So yeah, it's a fairly simple design, I think, but I'm hoping it'll be simple but effective. So we've just got these bits at the edges, so hopefully they will run up here. And it's going to have drop sleeve because I really like the way that fits and looks when I wear it, so on previous ones that I've knit. So it's going to be a drop sleeve, knit from the bottom up. I know not everyone loves knitting bottom up, but I do. I actually quite enjoy it. So that's the front. And on the back, there's a separate detail. It's all lace and texture on this one. And that's on just going up the centre of the back. So I'm really excited about this. And I just love knitting it. And just the feel of this yarn. It's just so beautiful to knit with. Here's the cake. I just love it. I'm just going to have to knit a few stitches. Can't stop myself. It's just so soft. And it does feel woolly, but really soft and woolly. I love wool that feels like wool. I really do. It's going to be difficult to edit the podcast today instead of knitting this. Right, what else have I got to tell you? Okay, I've got one more whip to show you that I've actually made some progress on, or I think I've made some progress on it. And those are the Merlin socks, or well, I'm calling them the Merlin socks. They're a pretty simple sock pattern. It's not one that I'm not following one, I'm just following my own sock recipe and just including a very basic rib pattern around the leg and the top of the foot. Sorry, I'll leave that alone now. But the socks are living in my Thimble & Thread bag, which is just a great sock sack. It's just like, it's not very rigid. So yeah, it's literally, you can just chuck it in handbag. Really great for travel knitting. And a drawstring. And I can't remember if I'd done this last time, but I have a finished sock. Did I have this last time? I'm not sure. But this is the Merlin colourway by Mr. B's Yarn. That's why I'm just calling them my Merlin socks. And yeah, I'm just doing a very simple ribbed pattern around the leg and the top of the foot. So just because they're not going to be for me, so I want them to be quite stretchy and flexible. I thought it'd be easier for them to fit someone else's foot then. Just look at these speckles. Love them. I love the feel of this yarn as well. So that's the first sock, and I am on the second sock, and I've done about that much. So I've got quite a way to go, but that's okay. I just need to get them done in time for Christmas. Yeah. So I was working quite a lot on these before I started the KAL, and then I got completely sidetracked and forgot about all of my other whips, even though I love them all dearly. So yeah. And I have another Corner of Craft Progress Keeper on here. And that's the little avocado, sparkly avocado, which I picked up at Yarnia. And I love that. I love avocados, so I had to have one as soon as I saw she'd made these. I had that on my little shopping list at Yarnia. So I need to go and buy an avocado. So there we go. That's the last whip. I have still got my nomadic yarn socks on the needles, but I haven't made much progress on them because I've been knitting on everything else. I do love them, but when I've been in the mood to knit a sock, I've been doing this gift knit, so it kind of has to take priority because it has a deadline. Excuse me. I think I only have one, maybe two more things to show you. I have a new spin on the wheel, but I've only just started it. I'll show you the fibre that I'm spinning first. Okay, so I did make a cheeky purchase. This is sort of acquisitions / spinning section. And I've been on the lookout for some Rolags for quite a while. And I saw Spindles and Stitches had posted some sort of festive themed Rolags, and I just fell in love with them and had to buy them both. So the first one, I'll show you the one I'm not spinning yet actually. This is the first one I picked up. I'm not going to take them out of the packet just because it's... Sorry about the crinkling. This is the gingerbread Rolag set. I love it. There's so many different things in the fibre. Excuse me. It's merino, Shetland, baby camel, baby alpaca, tussar silk, tencel, and milk protein. 7 different things in here. And I can't wait to spin those. They just look so pretty. I might do those closer to Christmas. I said the seal. And then the ones which I've started are called Snowy Pine. I've never used Rolags before, so at the moment I've spun one of them. And the content for these, there's just 4 different things in here. There's merino, bamboo, faux cashmere, and some sort of sparkle thing. Trilobal sparkle. And they're so pretty. These ones do shimmer a little bit. I don't know if I can... Oh, no. But I really, really love these. I did find that when spinning my first Rolag, I think I'd messed it up somehow. I don't think I was putting enough twist in the yarn or into the singles, and it kept breaking, and I had a real nightmare spinning it. But then when I consciously put more twist in, it was okay because it wants to spin really fine. And I'm just going to let it do that if it wants to. I think I'm going to do it as a 2-ply, and I'm just going to I'm spinning each one from the light end to the dark end, and I'm just going to do it as all onto one bobbin in that order, and then I'm going to wind it into a cake and ply it from each end of the cake. I can't remember who mentioned this idea. I think it's probably a well-known thing that spinners do, but I'm fairly new to spinning, so I don't know. So I'm going to ply the singles from each end of the cake as a 2-ply, and that way, when I get to the middle of the cake, it will end up that I will use all of the singles. There will be no waste, because I always end up with a little bit left on one of the bobbins, and I'm like, well, that could have been in the yarn. I would like to use it also. I'm going to see how that goes, and I'm thinking if I'm carrying on doing it light to dark the entire way through, when I come to apply it, the light sections will meet with the dark sections. So, and you'll get like a bit of a barber poling effect. Some bits will be similar, but then you'll get some sections which are quite contrasted. So I think that'll be quite fun. If I'd wanted to do it as more of a stripy yarn, I think I could have done 3 of the first 3 going light to dark, or I could have gone light to dark, dark to light, light to dark, and then done the opposite way round for the second half of the bobbin, and then I think the colours would have lined up. Is that right? I'm not sure now. But yeah, I could have done the last 3 going dark to light, and then you'd end up with starting with the 2 light ends, and then it would, I don't know if this is making sense to anyone apart from me in my head. So, but that's how that's going. I've not done very much at the moment, so I don't think there's enough to show on the bobbin, but I'm really excited about it and really enjoying it. So I might get a chance to do some of that later. This is turning into such a long podcast. I'm really sorry. I had one more thing I wanted to talk about, and I don't know if I've got time now. I'm just going to talk about it anyway. This was like a future knitting, possible future knitting cast on. I don't know if you'll have seen, you know, the Floofy cardigan. Who's it by? Who's it by? Libby Johnson. I haven't knit the cardigan, but it is really pretty, and I think it's like a mosaic knitting pattern. So it's not actual colour work, it's more mosaic knitting. Let's see if I can. Oh, it's not focus. There we go. That's the Floofy cardigan, and I think she has now brought out the Floofy sweater, which is really exciting. I think she has. Have I made this up? Let's see. No, she has. It's called Floofy 2. Here we go. So. Yeah, so she's done a sweater version, which is much more my style, I think, than a cardigan. And I've done a bit of stash diving, and I feel like this pattern is kind of calling to me, and I'm slowly getting drawn in and getting closer and closer to casting it on. But I feel like I've got too many things on the needles. My argument was I need to finish this, but now I've done that. And I need to finish those socks. And I've got designs to be going on. Sorry, it's Jonah. But it didn't stop me going through my stash and picking out what colours I would use. So I think the main colour that I have is, I've got a sweater's quantity of this Moonstone Dye Works. It's on her BFL sock base in the crescent colourway. I really, really love it. And I've been eyeing this up in my stash since I bought it, looking for the perfect pattern that it wants to be, and I just haven't figured it out yet. Jonah, be careful. He's getting mischievous at the moment. And then I think you have to have 2 contrast colours. So this is my main colourway, which is fairly neutral with some speckles. And the 2 contrast colours are both tonals. So I've got this one, which is Big Sky Yarn Co. And it's on their Sundance sock base, which is 75% merino, 25% nylon. And the colourway is Band of Horses. I really, really love it. I just thought these two complemented each other quite well, because this is kind of a purpley neutral. It's sort of got like really deep purpley grey mauves, and it's sort of a mauve, I think. Kind of a bright mauve, isn't it? But I thought those two went together really nicely. And then I've also got this cake of Kate Celine in the, I think it's the licorice colourway. And I just thought that made the others pop quite well. Because I think in the pattern there's like a little zigzaggy bit that's in a different colour. I thought maybe this for the zigzag bit. I'm not sure, I'll have to have a think. But yeah, what do you think of this colour combination? Do you think it would work? I think there's enough contrast between the different colours. And I think they're all of the same sort of colour palette. So they're all fairly cold colours, aren't they? I think it would be still like really wearable. So I want to make sure I'm knitting garments that I'm actually going to want to wear at the end of all of the hard work that you put into them. I want to make sure I'm going to get the wear out of them. So what do you think? I think this would be good. Right, so that was the last thing I wanted to talk about. My camera battery is now flashing at me, and this has never happened when I've started at full camera battery. It was charged 100% before I started this. So that just shows how long this episode is going to be. If you're still with me, thank you so much for watching. What have you been knitting? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to enter that giveaway for the pattern from Christine of Sweet Lavender. And I hope you all have a lovely couple of knitty weeks until I speak to you again soon.